I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit them right in the chest. It be looking like magic, better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone, eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they seeing double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Welcome back, people. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Before we go ahead and get started, make sure that you are liking, commenting, sharing, all that good stuff. Make sure that you hop over to the YouTube. If you're not already subscribed over there, make sure you do so. This way, you get all the updates, get all the reels, get all that good stuff that you like to tune into. And yeah, so yeah, we're going to get started here shortly. Fellas, how we doing? How we feeling today?
Good. Doing well,
man. Austin is good, really good.
Yeah, Austin's very fantastic.
Austin's fantastic.
He can't even say anything. He's speechless.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I promise not to get too offside. Austin, congratulations, my guy. You're a national champion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Also, thank you. Hey, we want to thank you for the double whammy you created in Texas. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a good coach y'all got. So
I'm very excited.
I will say, Austin, generally, I'm not okay with Tennessee winning anything. But in this case, I guess we'll let it slide.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
just-
take it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's completely fine.
Peyton was in the house. It was awesome.
Exactly. Everything else coming out of Tennessee, it's weird. There's mayo, there's meth. It's just like it's incest. It's just like it doesn't make sense. You know.
Mayo, meth, and College World Series. That's what they got going on.
But yes, so you know what? We're not gonna get too off topic here. So yes, welcome back to the HorseShoe Mob podcast, where we're coming to you with everything Colts. And like I said, we may or may not just slander some other teams here and there. It's not because we're petty, but just because we don't really care about them. So I mean, either way, making sure that we're just getting right into it. Let's just get to the guys. So we have with us. We'll start with the national champions, Austin.
Yeah. What's
Austin,
up? I'm
good,
Austin.
everybody?
Yep,
Yes.
I'm Austin. Go Vols.
I mean, only for
he added some
baseball.
words.
Only for
He
baseball.
added
Yeah.
some words.
Only for baseball. We're not gonna no, not for anything else. All right, we have with us Josh Senior.
I feel away, man. You guys didn't announce, JJ Redick is the new head coach. You guys talk about the Vols. Fuck the Vols. What about the Lakers and JJ Redick?
In the words of JJ Redick, I don't really give a F. All right, so so yes, that's what we're going with. Okay,
That's
good.
good.
All right, glad we can go ahead and just get that wrapped right up. Okay, all right, we have with us Harish Nukala.
Texas Longhorns, 2025 College World Series champions.
Oh Jesus.
Let's ride. Longhorns country, let's ride.
Nope.
Also,
We're not we are not doing this.
I want to tell you guys something.
Oh,
A really, really cool story of mine. A buddy of mine actually hit me up today, and he had a really cool quote, and I'm going to share it with you guys. I think it's a quote that. Let me show you.
But we like the group we have.
yeah, there you go. Okay, fantastic. All right, glad we got that out the way early, right? And I'm Chris Jackson. I have nothing to report from any of my other teams except for the fact that apparently the Kings were going to get Alex Caruso. I don't know. Do with that information what you will.
I'm glad you guys didn't.
Yeah, because that would
They
have
were
been
a
great.
fan of single A's, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. But we already have comments. We have Adam in here. Adam J. He said, "What's up, y'all? What's going on, Adam? Glad to have you back with us." So I don't know if anybody else knows, but literally nothing has been happening recently. Yeah, because I mean, we're
Is that the same Adam that we're going to beat in fantasy football?
Oh yeah, Adam's in that crew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what's going on,
I hope
Adam?
everybody's
It's
hard,
nice to see a
Adam.
loser.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. We're gonna let our teams talk for us. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're not gonna call
It's very
names. We're not gonna do any of that. We will only choose violence when provoked.
That's very Aggie of you to do, but okay.
He said, "Sure, the F ain't." Listen
See,
here,
yeah.
Adam, okay? We're not so no. But you started, Josh. So you know what, Adam? We'll let you get your little slight jabbing. Okay? All right. But you know what? Right now, we're gonna talk some Colts. And who better to talk about on the Colts? Well, actually, before we go there further, who better to talk about the Colts than people like Josh Senior when he writes articles for www.fanbattlesports.com. You go there for all your sports-related content. You'll be able to get articles, past episodes, see the bios, all that good stuff. There's going to be 3 other teams on there, but let's be honest, you don't care about them. You care about us, and we care about y'all. So make sure you go to www.fanbattlesports.com for all your Colts-related stuff that you're looking for. And yeah, so without further ado, Harish's favorite Colts GM, Chris Ballard, did an interview with Mike Lombardi yesterday on the they apparently have a GM show. So he went over a lot of the same talking points that we normally see. But he went kind of into detail in regards to the draft, in regards to like the approach in the offseason. One of the things that was mentioned was him saying that, it built it all starts up front. So basically talking about the fact that you're putting emphasis on D-line, you're putting emphasis on O-line, and more specifically talking about the D-line with drafting Leatu Latu. And so it was a lot of the same things that he normally talks about, but it was a little bit different because of the fact that now it's just like we're talking about post draft, post no free agency, and now it's like you're really gonna have to prove this right now because this isn't gonna make any sense. So I don't know how. And one of the things that he said is just like you got to get lucky, but I know that it's just I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it, but do you feel like Chris Ballard sells us this bill of goods? I'm gonna say repetitively, because I mean it's just like you can watch the interviews at different times, and it just sounds like a lot of the same. But I don't know. That might be how I feel about it. What do you guys think?
Man, it's been the same thing you heard for 7 seasons. What else you want to hear new other than, what's the clip again, Harish?
Yes, it's our favorite clip of all time, actually.
But we like the group we have.
Been in there for 7 seasons, so I mean, what's one more year?
No, well, I mean, at some point or another, so the thing is, this team right now, like, do we feel like there's any type of pressure on Chris Ballard to actually be successful this year? Because I mean, the problem is that you see that once again we're going into the same notions over and over again that this is what's going on and this is what's happening. So we see that it's like we know what to expect. It's almost like you know exactly what's going to happen, or you know exactly what's going to be told to you because it's the same thing that you frequently are dealing with.
Yeah.
But the thing is now it's just like we went 9-8 last year, and assuming that Anthony Richardson can be healthy, if this team ends up with, let's just say, this team ends up having injuries. And then we're digging into 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and undrafted guys. Is this once again being indicative, or is this indicative of the fact that Chris Ballard isn't really building this team other than to try to draft guys and then just say, "Oh, okay, well, I did the best that I could."
I don't know what it is, honestly, at this point. Like, it's the same stuff every year. He's not going to make any moves. It's all lip service. He's just so hell bent on proving that he can win by just drafting a team. And yeah, I mean, he talked about being aggressive in the offseason, and he clearly didn't do that. I don't know if there's a sense, like, internally, maybe for Ballard, that he's about to be out of here. Like, I don't know if we're going to need to go that deep, but something just seems off to me, and I just don't know what that is yet. So I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe he just doesn't care, and that's why maybe him and Jim Irsay are not on the same page, and that's why he just keeps saying the same thing over and over because he just doesn't care. And Jim is just doing enough to pay him out his contract, but he just got an extension. I don't know. Something feels off at this point to me, and I think maybe that's just me convincing myself that something has to be off.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't even think it's necessarily about it being off. I think it's about the fact that he's earned Jim Irsay's trust. That's clear. And so with him earning Jim Irsay's trust, he's kind of like repeating the same points, talking to the media the same way. I think last year was just kind of a one-off year because we were more successful than I think any of us thought we were going to be. But now, I think there's a lot of teams that kind of look to have figured out what it is they needed to do to kind of take their team to the next level. And he said, no, this team is good enough to go ahead and just be in that position. And mind you, regardless of how we feel about it, it's just like we know that we needed somebody else potentially to just go and be in the secondary. But we didn't get anybody else in the secondary except for a late pick. And this is somebody who played safety, but who was super athletic. So now we have the athletic guy who can do a crazy aerial backflip, but we don't know if he can play corner enough to be able to really just be effective in the secondary.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tough part of everything that we're doing. It's really tough to kind of just see where things are, because like it absolutely could be better. I mean, Xavier Howard was somebody who came up. Now we just found out he was doing some heinous stuff, so I get it. But also at the same time, you still got some guys out there. And you also saw some of the contracts that were going, like, even if, let's just say, like Jeremy Chin, I think he signed for like 1 year for $5 million. And he's somebody who could drastically improve the defense on the back end. But once again, it's just like we're not seeing that return. And then we have Adam. He said Chris hinted at it being more aggressive this year during the offseason. Now our guys we signed would have been signed and started elsewhere, but his aggressive talk was just smoke. Which absolutely, like, that's 100%.
Yeah,
and his clock definitely started with drafting AR and getting the coach of his choice. And that's the thing that really bothers me, because I think that if for some reason, like, let's say if we go 8-9 this year, I don't believe that it will be indicative of Shane Steichen. I think that's going to absolutely be on Chris Ballard, because of the fact that he had multiple opportunities to shore up positions that he didn't. And if we lose games by teams just bombing on us in the passing game, that's going to be on Gus Bradley, and that's also going to be on Chris Ballard, because that Gus Bradley's system requires a certain type of cornerback in order to be effective. Now, Kenny, I want to say, is a unicorn for that, because of the fact that he's not a 6'3" corner, but he was still playing as lights out as he possibly could last season.
Yep. No, I completely agree with that.
Do y'all think, we all look at it as him, as him being cheap? When he always, they always say, Colts are rumored, because normally always have the most cap or top 5 in cap. The Colts are rumored to get this player, get that player, and all the hype is surrounding that. And then we find out that this player, say a player wants, a certain amount of money. Because I'm assuming, like, okay, let's say, we hear rumors that the Titans looking at, Simmons, but I think it's a certain amount that he's looking for before he signed. I don't think he want to sign for like a minimum of 5-6 years, then re-up next year. I think he wants a certain amount. I think that's what's holding him back. Same thing with Quan Diggs. I'm more mad. We are mad at Ballard for these reasons, but can we also think about the free agents that don't want to sign because they are stubborn and they want their payday? And right now, all the money is pretty much gone on free agents, outside free agents, and the in-house.
Well, but that's the issue that you run into, because the year that we signed Matt Ryan late, that made sense.
Yeah.
But this was a team that was a drop pass away from not just winning the division, but also being a double-digit win team after going 4-12 the year, or 4-13 the year before. So the thing is, like, free agents being stubborn, I don't think that that's an excuse, because you know what you're getting with this team and you know what's available. But it's the fact that it's the lack thereof. It's knowing that you're going into something, knowing that you have the opportunity to be able to sell somebody on coming here and being part of what could be a winning culture, knowing that you have the players in place, but then saying, no, we have a number, we have this, we have that. And it's like, you always have a number and you never get who you need to get. And then you go into each season realizing that the guy that you could have had, if you would have just gone and paid an extra $1 to $2 million when you had over $32 million available, really wasn't going to hurt you.
I mean, we paid the price with Audrey, That's So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I look at the guys that's remaining. You know, I don't know what Xavier Howard wanted. Good that he's not signed with us because he got his own issues, and we don't need any distraction on our team.
Yeah.
But we can say for the first time in quite some time that we don't have an off season where a player is being disgruntled. So, but for us outside guys, I don't know what's going on because like I said, Diggs still available, Eddie Jackson still available, Simmons still available, and he all pro. I mean, those guys available, but what are they looking for his contract? And it's probably why there's the hold up for them to even moving with teams that got the most cap in the league right now.
At some point, right? The story that and this is the thing I think I'm most frustrated with Chris Ballard about, because maybe sometimes it's true, but I think sometimes it's also like you ask the question and they say no, so you stop asking. And it's the notion that it takes two to tango. Like he says that a lot, right? And he's like, well, it takes two to tango. And, you need two people to agree on something for things to happen. I completely agree that is definitely something that needs to happen. But if you say that in every single scenario where somebody says no, there's something wrong there. So you're either pitching the wrong thing, A. Yeah. B, you're selling something that's a pipe dream that doesn't exist, which could be very likely. Or C, you're not trying as hard as you're saying that you're trying, and you're just going through the motions. And it could be a combination of all three. I do think that he goes through the motions a lot. That's why he says the same thing over and over like a broken record. I don't think he sells this organization. Like, I don't feel like he sells Anthony Richardson for Anthony Richardson. I still think, like, in the back of his mind, there's still, like, he tells us a lot of things, right? There's a lot of doubt in what Chris Ballard says as a leader. And a lot of it is, well, we really like the guys we have. We'll see what happens. Look, Anthony Richardson is a great player, and we think he has a lot of potential, but we still don't know what he is yet. Like, he says these things, right? Like, if I were to go to Casario and talk about CJ Stroud, now, obviously, CJ Stroud has a body of work to back it up. He's like, we're set. We're ready to roll. Let's do this. And you're also in a big market like Houston. Like, it makes it harder for sure, but I just don't think he sells this team enough, which is also concerning because he built the damn thing.
Well, yeah. And the thing is not really being able to sell it because, you very much so can sell the fact that you have a good youth movement or a good enough youth movement with this team where you can go ahead and sell somebody as far as a veteran goes, sell a Justin Simmons, sell a Quandre Diggs on, hey, listen, we got a young team, but you also have a defense that's really gotten like crazy in the trenches.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's just like, yeah, of course you're not going to let that be known before the draft because you don't want to go ahead and release trade secrets. But also, you have to be able to go and just say, listen, we can make sure that you're doing everything that you're doing, and we bring you in as a veteran presence. You can sell somebody on potentially being a missing piece.
Yeah.
You can sell somebody on potentially being a spark for a younger group that would just be like much better, especially when, like, for me, I don't see how it would be hard to convince somebody to go into a safety group knowing that you have Julian Blackmon back there, but then also knowing that you have Rodney Thomas, who could potentially be back there again, who really wasn't doing well last season.
Yeah. All you need is one. We're not talking like we need like 15 pieces here. We literally need one. And I think that's the other pieces for and the other thing is he doesn't believe this is a Super Bowl ready team yet. That's the other issue is I don't think he believes this team is ready to make a Super Bowl run. And I disagree with that. I think if you put the right pieces, 1 or 2 pieces around that you can shore up, I think I'm not saying they're going to make the Super Bowl. That window is opened, in my opinion.
But the thing is, you want to, like, that's a cop out.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you don't like,
I agree, but what I'm saying is that's how he's thinking.
Yeah. But the thing is, but like, it doesn't make sense, right? Because the thing is, no matter what, like, the thing that's always bothered me in regards to Chris Ballard is the fact that with any move that he's ever done with this team, he's always tried to sell it as if it's a year that we're rebuilding.
Yeah.
How are we rebuilding this consecutively? And the thing is, we've had one season we had 2 seasons under 500 in his tenure.
Yep.
Because the thing is, I really don't count the year before Luck played his last year here, because of the fact that he inherited Ryan Grigson's method, and Ryan Grigson was an absolute dumpster fire. But the thing is, it's just like we're constantly being told that this team is rebuilding, or it's just like we're getting closer and we're getting closer. And the thing is, like, you went out and got Matt Ryan. That's not a we're getting closer move. That's a okay, well, we need to go ahead and make a move now. You got Phillip Rivers. That's a we got to make a move now. You got Carson Wentz. That's a well, he was an MVP contender. So we can make a move now. Like, everything that he's done on a year-to-year basis has been all right, well we're ready to go ahead and go for the playoffs. Like, the issue that I'm having is that you believe that this team isn't necessarily Super Bowl ready. Where if you don't believe that the team is Super Bowl ready, then you're not doing your job, because it's your job to make sure that you're putting a team on the field that will potentially be able to go all the way. And I don't care who you have there. I don't care whether it's Minshew. I don't care whether it's AR. I don't care whether it's Sam freaking Ellinger. Every single year you're constructing a team. You're paying these guys millions so that you can go to the playoffs and potentially go to the Super Bowl. And for me, it's if you're sitting there saying, "Oh yes, well we feel like we're maybe a year or two away from competing," then you need to resign. Because if you're not working diligently every offseason to make sure that your team is in the proper position to be able to compete, then that means that you're setting your team up for failure, because your mindset is literally taking away from the fact that this team needs to be a team that's ready. And if you don't feel like this team is ready, then that means that you're not getting this team ready. And if you're not getting this team ready, you're making millions and you're fleecing the organization.
100%.
Hopefully, Shane Steichen is that coach that let him know that, hey, in order for me to be successful or continue being successful, I need a team around, my young quarterback, my running back, my highest paid receiver on the team. We need a team. I need a defense that can not shut down a team, but contain a team, through 3 or 4 quarters. Maybe he's that guy to do that. I mean, we know Chuck Pagano wasn't going to do that. We know Frank White wasn't going to do that. We know Jeff Saturday wasn't going to do that. Maybe Shane is that guy to tell him, hey, Chris, I need, the guys. I need more guys in the trenches. I need guys in the secondary in order to compete in this league with other teams, that have a lot of receivers, had a decent tight end group, that has nice running backs out of the backfield. We had yes mans in the past that allowed Chris to do that and get away with it.
Yeah.
And I said this, maybe not to you guys, but winning 9 games last year was the best thing that happened to him, because he can say, well, we was a player or 2 away from being division winners. That was the worst thing that happened. The best thing that happened to him, but the worst thing that happened to us, because he stayed. Had he had another down season, winning 4 or 5 games, I'm sure Irsay would have probably pulled the trigger. But being that we won 9 games with Gardner, and he went and got a payday with Vegas, it's like, okay, well, look what we did. So we just run it back with the same team while other teams are building. We're just at right here in case, and say, hey, well, let's see what our young quarterback, we got him at 4th overall pick a year ago. Let's see what he does first, and then we can judge our season based off that. But I don't want to risk that. That for me, it's a fan. I don't want to. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to risk that. Saying let's see how far we can go with our young quarterback, and then if we're unsuccessful, then we build a year or 2 later when we 10 years in his tenure, where we're still saying the same thing. Where we miss out on having this tight end, we miss out on having this receiver, we miss out on drafting. What's the guy from Toledo?
Quinn Mitchell. Yeah.
Mitchell, yeah.
Getting him. We miss out on all these guys that could have impacted our team on either side, and we're here stuck saying shoulda, coulda, woulda again for 7, 8 seasons.
Yeah. Well, but that's the biggest issue that I have when it comes to that, because we can go and we can talk about exactly what it is, but the X factor here is going to be Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Shane Steichen, despite having to take that team where the secondary wasn't that great, where he basically had to go and do his game plans. He had the game plan around the fact that Gus Bradley's defense was just not what it should have been last season. And despite all of that, we still went 9-8. In a year that most people had us, I think 6 wins was the most. 6 wins is what I had. I think a couple of you guys had us at like maybe 4 to 5 as far as the low end. And the thing is, you end up going 9-8, but then you also have to go ahead and loop back around, and you have to go and do now, we're going to have to run this back now. So like the crazy thing is, if Shane Steichen, and mind you, if we remain healthy and Shane Steichen, let's just say, takes his team to 11-6, Chris Ballard looks like a genius. And that's the problem, because Shane Steichen is going to make adjustments on the fly, and he's going to do all these things. And there's a chance that he's going to be very successful with the pieces if people can stay healthy and do this. But that means that now Chris Ballard's off the hook, because now he doesn't have to change a damn thing, because that means that we were able to get 11 wins out of him choosing to just go ahead and make sure that he's not doing anything outside of what he normally does.
Yep.
So
I think it's just a lack of steady improvement with this team, this roster. He used the quarterback as a crutch for 5 years. He basically saved his job. He's robbing money from this organization at this point, right? Every year it's just, we like what we got, so we'll see what happens. And he's got rusted pipes, but he's hoping for pipe dreams to occur. I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know, honestly. Like I have no clue what this season's gonna bring. I'm hopeful I think I had us at 11-6. Like I think that's very reasonable. But if this secondary gets hurt, Jesus, we are not in a good spot. Like this team is this defense is gonna suffer if this secondary is not healthy, because there's just no depth on this. But as much as we hate that word, you're literally screwed, just like you were last year. If one of those top 3 guys gets hurt, Juju, Kenny, or I'm going to put Jalen Jones. I think he's our number 3. Any of those 3 guys gets hurt, you're screwed.
Yeah, and that's all the more reason why it's like this. The way that he constructs this team is just it's weird, because of the fact that he refuses to acknowledge anything. Like the 2 places that he acknowledged was quarterback. I mean, we lost Minshew. Okay, cool. But then it's just like you go after another D tackle when there's cornerbacks available.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that really just bugs me, because it's like you are seeing the same thing that we're seeing, right?
Yep. He even laugh at us.
Yeah, and not only that, but also it's just like you're putting your hope on Dallas Flowers. And the one thing that I'm absolutely scared, I'm terrified of, is Chris Ballard coming out and saying blank player has earned the opportunity to start. Because every time he says that player has not earned the opportunity to start.
Yep.
It's absolutely, it's just like this player earned the opportunity to start. That means that it's the complete opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's very concerning.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, so as a whole, I know how you guys feel about this team, but how do we feel about this team if, like I said, it's just like in terms of, I know we're talking about depth, but how do we feel about this team depth-wise? Like, how do we feel about this team where, let's just say, if we lose a player in a position, how good do we feel about the opportunity that they'll have for somebody to be able to just step up and just be able to just jump in and then it not really just make a huge difference?
For me, I think offensively, we're pretty good, but defensively is pretty bad. Like, we cannot lose anybody on defense. But then, if somebody goes down on offense, I think there's some guys that can step up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I'm actually not too terribly worried about the offense. I honestly, I think we can afford some attrition on offense at certain positions. But yeah, I just said it. This defense is, it is scary. Linebacker, corner, safety. I mean, D line, I think will be okay. I mean, the D line wasn't terrible. I think what you suffer from a D line is like if Latu gets screwed, then you're back to what you are last year, right? You might get a lot of sacks, but that quarterback's gonna sit there for like 10 years before to throw the ball, and that becomes a concern. So, yeah, I mean, the back end of this defense is pretty concerning for sure. I think offensively we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about the running back position. I know a lot of people are high on Trey Sermon, and he played well in small samples because we had Zach Moss there too. If something happens, I'm hoping for a full season with Jonathan Taylor. If he somehow gets nicked up, I'm not confident in Sermon and Hall and Funk as our guys to run offense in the run game. I'm very worried in that regard. So I don't know what they do with that. And maybe they are high on Hall and Sermon, but I'm not. I don't think Sermon can carry a team like Moss did. Well, Moss, I didn't think Moss could either, but Moss did it. So maybe it's just we gotta wait and see. It's trial and error. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. And so now, like I said, we would be remiss because I know we've been talking about this Chris Ballard stuff. And as a matter of fact, we got one more comment from Matt. He says, I do not like having any drama queens on the team. And 95% of the team knows the scheme and terminology, but good God, address the holes. I think that's all anybody's saying. I don't think anybody's like out here to bash Ballard, but we're just like, dude, like there's no way that you're seeing this and thinking that this is going to work because we know that it's not going to. But
I think we need some dogs. I don't think we really have any dogs on this team, like defensively, especially. Like I think Latu's a dog. I think that's a guy that but when we talk about dogs, like guys that are gritty, guys that are like they play with an edge. Like I don't think Kenny Moore plays with an edge. I don't know if Juju plays with an edge. Nobody's going to go out there and be like, oh, shit, I got to line up against Jalen Jones. Oh, dang, we're so screwed. Like, this guy played physical. Quinion Mitchell was that guy, right? Like, I don't think we have enough of those guys on the defense. And I think on the defensive end, you need guys that are going to be gritty. They're going to get dirty. So I don't know if I agree with, but then some of those guys are drama queens, right? Like it's like a give and take. Like you're gonna have some guys that cause issue, like maybe just I don't want to say cause issues, but keep things interesting in the locker room. But the trade-off to that is on the field, they're so impactful and ways that don't show up on the stat sheet. And you need those types of guys, and there's guys that we on defensive end of the field that we don't have. On offense, you got those guys, right? You have Quentin Nelson, you have Michael Pittman, who he might not be making an impact on the scoreboard, but he's a dog. Like he's gonna like get hit in the helmet and make a catch, right? Like he showed that he can do that, and I apologize for him before, right? So I can say that about him now. Quentin Nelson's gonna run a guy and drag a guy 30 yards down the field, right? Like we've got guys like that on the defensive end, on the offensive end of the ball. We don't have dogs on the defensive end, and maybe Latu could be that first guy, but we need one more. Preferable in that back end of that defense.
Well, yeah, I don't think we know exactly what Ebicom's going to do. I mean, the guy had 9.5 sacks last year, so I mean, Ebicom could be coming in. I mean, maybe Kwity Paye gets that push that he needs in order to go ahead and get to that next level. Because I mean, outside of the extension, it's just like this is pretty much a last ditch effort for him. So I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, well, talking a little bit more about I'm going to say more of a positive note. the Colts have been nominated for the ESPN Sports Humanitarian Team of the Year finalists for their Kicking the Stigma program. The program itself is just basically just being able to focus on the mental health aspect. If you're in Indy, then you've heard about it. Even if you're not in Indy, you're a Colts fan, you may have heard about it through other channels. But because of the work through the Kicking the Stigma, they are now nominated for the ESPN Sports Humanitarian Team of the Year. So definitely something pretty dope comes out of that, because, like I said, it's just like in the month of focusing on, I think it's men's mental health, but mental health is important as a whole. Being able to be recognized for that means that, there's others taking notice of the fact that mental health is absolutely something that needs to be highlighted more. And I think, there's I think there's not irony, but I think there's a certain hope that you have with talking about mental health in a sport that deals with a lot of people who have to deal with, some head trauma, some things that go on even after the fact. So really just working on that aspect of it. I think it's awesome that they're being recognized for that. So yes, thank you for that. Well, I'm going to say we'll probably stay tuned. We'll go ahead and report on that later on. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here because, like I said, we didn't think that we were going to be on here that long, but who would have thought that Chris Ballard would have just brought out just so much to talk about. So yes. And with that being said, guys, where can the people find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CookieAustin2.
All right. Harish, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me at the Uncle Gandhi.
All right. Josue?
Who is Josh Senior?
All right. Well, who is Josh Senior?
Right here.
Okay,
The man, the myth, and the legend.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
the legend.
All right, enough's enough. All right, and you can find me at CJ Colts fan on Twitter. Make sure that you're staying tuned. Next week will actually be the that'll be our next episode will be next Tuesday, and then we're going to be taking a 3-week break until training camp. So make sure that you go ahead and that you stay tuned. But in the meanwhile, we will see you next week. Colts Nation, stay cool. Make sure that you drink a lot of water, use a lot of sunscreen. Don't want you burning up and dehydrating and all that other nastiness that the summer brings. But yeah, other than that, also, the Jags were approved for a stadium stateside. So for anybody who had hopes they were going to London, it sucks. They're not going to be in London. But you know what? That won't change the fact that Sam loves Jalen.